I think prosecution always had an uphill battle because when you think of RICO status, you think of Al Capone, you think of El Chapo, you think of niggas running criminal organizations in a pursuit and profit of money and wealth and power, right? So although the argument that they were making was that he was running a criminal, the argument they was making was he was running a criminal organization for his own pleasure. You just
that part.
It's hard to wrap your head around this shit. Yo. Welcome back to another episode of The Great Deliberators. I am one of your hosts, Mr. Liberator Rozay.
It's your boy DK.
And one time for our boy O-Beam.
Say your name, make your name ring.
Who is free, but kind of not free. You know what I'm saying?
But maybe free.
But might be free. You know what I'm saying? He's going to be given more opportunity, you know what I'm saying, to be here. So hopefully we'll get this boy on the pod within the next month. But you know how that goes. Has he found a job yet?
That's a good question. I'll probably talk to him off the air. But let me call this man because I want to talk to y'all about some of these movies.
Okay, so DK's been in here for like the last 5 minutes trying to convince me to go see F1, which I really didn't need to be getting convinced on it. But he's convinced that it's the movie of the year so far. I don't know because I still fucks with Sinners heavy, so I got to. Can
you hear me? Yeah. All right, so we talking about some movies right now on the pod. We just started. Right now, I think the debate for movie of the year category would probably be Sinners and F1. Would you have any other like film that you would throw in there that is just in that staple?
Man, listen, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I'm probably biased just because, like, it was just so recent. But F1 was so good.
Dog. Okay, look. So I was telling Raph, I was like, honestly, I don't want to give it a 10 out of 10 because I want to leave room for like, let me just watch it again.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But as of right now, bro, that's the closest thing to a 10 out of 10 that I can.
We saw it in the 40X, and so like the moving seats and all that or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So my thing is, I think I'm gonna go watch it. I'm gonna go watch it in the IMAX, like just the regular IMAX.
Yeah.
And see if I still get that like. No, it was a good movie.
It was a good movie, man.
It was a good movie. It was a good movie.
Okay, you know I'm gonna catch it, man. Listen, the thing is next week for sure I gotta catch Superman.
Yeah.
And then
that was our plan to go see Superman, but we want to see it in IMAX, and like all the good seats are sold out, so we just gonna wait for like a couple weeks.
Damn, all the seats are sold out.
I mean, look, if you can get with Raph and we can go catch it.
Yeah, because I'm trying to see it.
All the good seats over here. I can't go too far, you know what I'm saying? But all the seats over here are kind of took, so that's why I want to wait a couple of weeks so we can get a good seat in the IMAX theater.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Opening week is usually the hardest, so after opening week, seats open up.
I will also say Ballerina.
Mm-hmm.
That was another really good
it's
movie.
Another one I ain't been.
That was a really good movie.
You know,
I mean, if I'm gonna be honest with you, bro, Ballerina is honestly better than all the John Wicks except for number one.
Number one, probably.
And I'm at.
Hey, better than number two?
Huh? Bro,
better than number two?
I'm not gonna say too much. Yes, I'm not gonna say too much because number one to me was the best.
I mean,
number one to me was the best. Two was good.
I can see how you. I can't argue that one is better than two, but I just enjoyed two more than one because
two had a lot more killing than one.
But I think my problem is it fell off after two, and so two was so much more better than three that maybe I just think two is better than one. But
I feel like two is when they went hardcore with just all right, we're gonna really just come like a killer movie. Like, we just want to kill.
No, I think two still had. At least it tied him to the original theme of the movie. After two, three is where he went like completely off the fucking rails. You know what I'm saying?
We're gonna turn into a superhero.
we just gonna see how many bodies we can get dropped in a movie. You know what I'm saying? Like it was wild. Although I still enjoy it, but you get my point. I still gotta catch Ballerina. Yeah, man. Listen, listen. Once y'all had kids, y'all understand, dog. It's hard to get to the movies, man. That shit that go on the back burner. You gotta wait till that shit come to cable.
I got you. Look, hopefully he can get with you. We can just watch this mug on IMAX, the Superman. I'm down for the Superman just simply because I've been shitting on DC for so long.
Oh no, it's not gonna be good.
Listen, they say this is supposed to be
don't.
Supposed to be good.
No, I'm going in with high expectations. So there's
don't believe the hype.
There's no stopping me on that.
No, it's gonna
this last Batman. I mean, the last Batman was good. I like how I think I told you that. I liked how they did it, kind of like the comic book.
Okay.
Kind of film. You know what I'm saying?
Robert Pattinson?
Yeah.
Okay,
I liked it. A lot of people said they didn't like it, but I personally...
It had some pacing issues, but overall it was a good film.
But that's kind of what a comic book is to me.
Okay, before we run into movies, I don't think it's really been a bad Batman film since the Nolan series. So like, and then Ben Affleck had a great script. Like Batman gives you good films. They've been doing great Batman films. What they haven't done,
DC was tripping.
What they haven't done is anybody else's film well.
Yes.
And that's what they need to. That's what they need to do.
Aquaman, dog.
No, Man of Steel was all right. I get it. Aquaman.
I'm not gonna lie to you. That's when I just was like, I'm over this. I can't do it anymore.
Aquaman was hot trash. Yeah.
Dang, I didn't think Aquaman was that bad either. I give it a 6 out of 10.
I wouldn't even do that. I wouldn't do that.
Nah, I can't.
That's an incomplete.
Nah, I can't rock with that.
Aquaman was. I didn't even finish it, so that's what I'm saying. It's an incomplete.
Nah, I can't rock with that logic. Nah,
that's the last film that I walked out of, bro. Like,
you talking about the first one or the second one?
Whatever had that little ant dude. I remember he came out. He was like, I'm like, he looked like an ant. The bad guy.
Oh, you talking about the Black Menace?
I would tell you like the problem for me.
What?
Is like,
what?
You talking about Black Menace, nigga?
Yeah, when he said I'm Black Menace or whatever, bro. I was like, all right, bro, I'm out of here. Like, I'm fucking done. I'm done. This shit is trash.
That nigga said an ant, nigga.
This shit is trash, dog. I can't do it no more. I'm out of here.
Hey, I live for these moments, dog. That nigga said an ant, nigga. I'm like, is this nigga confusing Ant-Man? Like, what movies are we talking about here? All right,
man, we gotta go.
Okay, man. We gotta go. We gotta give it to the pod, man.
All right.
Okay. All right. Cool. Listen, I definitely had wanted to see Ballerina because it's in the John Wick universe, and like,
John Wick was in that, man.
And once I'm married to some dog, like I gotta go.
You gotta see it through.
Yeah, like got to see it through, my boy. So either way, I was gonna go see Ballerina. But again, getting to the movies that should be a little difficult nowadays. Okay. Well, let's go ahead. Let's jump right into the pie, man. No introductions needed. We talking Diddy.
Yeah, that's what this is about. I really want to have a good conversation about this, though.
Okay, I know we
probably gonna have some petty moments, but I really want to.
No, I watched the recap on it so I can get a full idea of how the trial went. Which it kind of went. I didn't see anything out of the ordinary that I didn't expect to happen. Give me your thoughts on the verdict, though, of him beating all the RICO charges. Well, beating the RICO, beating the sex trafficking.
So, it's crazy that me and Vince, we talked about this quite a bit before the verdict came out. I watched it every single day since day one. So all 30-something days, like I was keeping up with it every single day.
Yeah.
And at first, it seemed like they had a strong case with RICO.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just seemed like when Jane Doe started doing her testimony, really, Cuddy to Jane Doe is when it just fell apart.
Mm-hmm.
Because what sucks is that you brought up Cuddy out there, but then we understood what they were trying to do. You're pretty much saying that we know that he's responsible for putting his car on fire, but you had no evidence to connect it.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, why did you bring him up there, except for the proper circumstance of it? And then Jane Doe, and this is kind of how I felt from the beginning, and this is first and foremost, before I speak any further, I want to say that anybody who is victims of sexual assault or any kind of sex crime or anything like that, you know what I'm saying, thoughts and prayers to you. But one of the things that we kind of discuss is it's very difficult for me to wrap my head around where the Cassie obviously being a victim of something that we saw on camera,
yeah,
but then also being a willing participant to some of the things that she went through for an extended period of time. We're talking about 8 to 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't like she was, handcuffed to the bed. She was willing to come and go. She, went off on some of these freak offs. She started them up, was engaging them.
Yeah.
So it's like, at what point, how do we make it seem like she was sex trafficked? You know what I'm saying? But the prostitution to me was obvious. I mean, you literally bought prostitutes. And you brought them, beyond state lines and stuff like that. So prostitution to me, that was a slam dunk. I think the RICO was a stretch just because of the predicates. I think that, this was more of he's a bad guy, but there was no proof and evidence of trafficking or anything like that. One of the things I wanted to ask you is two-part question. Part one is, do you believe that the prosecution fumbled or do you believe that Diddy's defense had a strong counter to some of the alleged crimes that he know?
No, I don't think they had any counter because they just alluded to the fact that, like, yeah, Diddy was a bad man. He was doing terrible things, but none of it was felonious or criminal in the way in which the prosecution was trying to present it. And at the end of the day, so to answer that second question, really, it's the
Both
same
of that is just one question. Yeah. So I have another question.
To answer the question, I don't think the prosecution could have did anything differently without, I guess, necessarily a smoking gun. But I don't think that they could prove what Diddy did following under RICO status, because I think that when these juries actually had to sit down and look at the law, and then they go back over the arguments that the prosecution and the defense made, that they focus on the law, right? And so when we hear, oh, he wasn't guilty, sometimes we're shocked, like, what the fuck you mean? But they're going by the letter of the law. But also, I think that I don't think the prosecution always had an uphill battle, because when you think of RICO status, you think of Al Capone. You think of El Chapo. You think of niggas running criminal organizations in the pursuit and profit of money and wealth and power, right? So although the argument that they were making was that he was running a criminal, the argument they was making was he was running a criminal organization for his own pleasure, that part. It's hard to wrap your head around.
Look, this is the thing. You said two things that I think really bothered me. Part one, you talked about Al Capone. When Al Capone was prosecuted, he wasn't prosecuted by himself. He was prosecuted by a plethora of other individuals.
Exactly.
Even when you hear about this YSL situation, right? It wasn't just Thug, it was Gunna and all these other individuals that were a part of that RICO case.
Yeah.
But when you're looking at this one, it seems as if, where is the security guard?
Yeah.
Where is the female assistant?
Now we asking the right questions.
You know what I'm saying? 2, 3, 4 other people that you are calling in as witnesses, you're giving them the ability to talk without ever being prosecuted for something, but you're saying that somebody is on a RICO charge, but he's on it by himself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But and then the second part that you said that, you know, I really had to ponder on was, he did these things for his self-pleasure. He didn't do these things for, you know, money or things of that nature. It wasn't like Al Capone where you're committing crimes, blowing up people's cars, because you're gaining territory, you're trying to, you know, sell, you know, rugs over here and This man is literally just has a sexual deviant like nature about him and is trying to get this off. Where do we say, like, all right, he's weird, but is he doing anything, in our opinion, like
criminal enterprise worthy,
negatively impacting society or hurting people to get to that particular self-pleasure?
Well, before you go forward, I don't think you can measure the however many constituents need to be considered in that umbrella to say that he's hurting like society, right? Like, to me, I don't know how they use the RICO status. Like I said, to my knowledge,
it was to take down mob bosses.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So to my knowledge, it was to help get to hire people by using lower level people who they could tie into a connection. Yeah, because, you know, through the RICO status,
it was for selling women for money, or selling rugs for money, or selling
an actual criminal organization in pursuit of
it's
profits.
A business.
Yeah,
whereas he was taking his business money and just flipping it to where a lot of these big companies, they take people to strip clubs. And what do you think happens there? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
but I think also, again, like I said, I think I mentioned this once, I don't know if Diddy ever really thought to himself that what he was doing would fall under like a felonious or RICO type shit.
He probably knew it was wrong. He probably knew that,
like, I shouldn't be using funds for this.
I could probably get into some trouble.
Yeah,
but we're talking
some tax
about life.
Trouble, you know what I'm saying?
We're talking about you taking him away for 30 plus years.
Yeah, I'm sure he thought he might get hit up by the IRS for some shit, but probably not to the extent of what like he's going through right now. So in which case, that's why, like, when you look back on it, and everything happens in hindsight, because remember,
that's what we're doing now. We're just Monday quarterbacking the situation.
Yeah, because remember, you also thought he was cooked, and I said, I don't know, man, because I got a guy on Instagram that said they ain't really doing a great job of proving the RICO part of this shit.
And this was going to be my next question. The timeline. Do you feel like the timeline negatively affected the outcome? And what I mean by that, the prosecution's timeline was that they had to bring Cassie out first. She was pregnant. They got the sympathetic, eyes of the jurors and people like us outside just, following the case. Do you feel like the prosecution's setup was bad? And what I mean by that is, did they call up 2 unnecessary witnesses? Should Cassie have been on the latter end of the timeline rather than being the first witness that came up? Should they have kind of explained the facts and then put in the people that were negatively affected by the facts? Or do you feel like showing that and then trying to explain the facts by then, it was just kind of like, I don't know, none of this is, adding up?
I think...
Or do you think like it didn't matter what the timeline was, the outcome was still going to be the outcome? Yeah,
I think at the end of the day, man, sometimes less is more. So I don't know, man, because I don't know how none of this law shit works. Laws are vague.
It has 60 witnesses.
Yeah, so laws are vague. So from watching what I watched, right, which was like another legal expert who went over like a recap of the whole Diddy trial, he basically said that the prosecution's strategy essentially was to bring out Cassie, to hit it hard, to lay the foundation of what the criminal charges are and how the enterprise worked. And then everybody else after that was pretty much just to corroborate their original perspective, right? Don't know if 60 witnesses was too much, you know what I'm saying? Like, because, we kind of also... to me, at some point in time, also, I do think that like these long drawn out trials where they're trying to,
beat you over the head with the information.
Like people are short fused now, right? So they probably didn't even want to deliberate long. And then for all we know, they might have thought he was motherfucking guilty on them charges. And then it could have been one person that was like, nah, I ain't feeling that shit. And I ain't trying to be here in the 20 minutes longer than I need to be, right? So, all right, I feel you. That shit was kind of up in the air. I'm just gonna roll with not guilty too. You know what I'm saying?
Rico, they were kind of. It seemed like they got through the first or the latter 5 or 4 verdicts pretty quickly. But that Rico is what took them almost a day and a half to kind of, saying,
and they had requested more information.
So
too,
it seems like but it seemed like off the rip they already knew like we weren't going to hit this dude with no trafficking. This was going to be prostitution.
I mean, yeah.
So unless they were trying to link in. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I listen, man. I can't tell you the strategy. What I can tell you is essentially this shit ultimately fell apart to me after listening to homie talk. That it just seemed like the jury probably just couldn't connect criminal enterprise to what they were trying to spit. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, when you think of criminal enterprises, you think of, like I said, El Chapo, Al Capone, you know what I'm saying? Like some of the biggest mob bosses, drug dealers, people, criminal organizations who got people from top to bottom. Every plethora of what they do is, 5% of what they do is legitimate businesses to launder money through, and then everything else is 95% illegal activity. And you just literally have to connect the financial crimes to the, the legitimate businesses to show that the money laundering is happening, and this is what's going on in all of that shit, right? So at the end of the day, I just don't think that they probably, whose bright idea was to hit him with a Rico, you know what I'm saying? But I guess at the end of the day, it doesn't even matter,
they overshot
right?
themselves
Because he still hit with some pretty significant charges.
Is it?
Them shit still up to 10 years?
No. I mean, but okay. That's the next subject.
I'm about to say,
that's the next
still
subject.
up to 10 years.
That's the next subject. Is you pretty much got him on prostitution,
Yeah.
And it's the same thing that Robert Kraft got hit with. You know what I'm saying? Prostitution.
Transportation across prostitution?
Yeah, and that's the problem. It's the same thing of prostitution, but you're just bringing the prostitute to you. That's ultimately what it is. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is you're paying for sex. So what do you think is going to happen next with Diddy? I will probably submit that I think he's going to get out by the end of 2026. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Between October and the end of 2026. He can be up to 10 unless the judge is trying to like do some OJ type of thing where it's like, hey, we know you've gotten off with a lot of things that you have not been caught up with. I'm going to be more heavy-handed on this, but he's never been a convicted felon. He doesn't have a criminal history. So what do you think, when do you think he's going to get out? And then after that, what do you think is going to happen next with Diddy in the next chapter post getting out of prison, which should be probably in the near future?
I don't know, man. I mean, the judge denied him bail, so the judge definitely thinks that like he's a criminal. Like,
No
I
doubt.
mean, so in which case, and then like the judge said, the judge even alluded to the fact that like when they were telling him they're like, yo, he's never been in any trouble or significant trouble, so on and so forth, he was all like, yeah, but to y'all own admission, he's a violent person. Like y'all, the defense had to concede to certain things in order to even get him off.
That verdict,
yeah,
yeah.
to get the verdict. So like in the judge's eyes, even to y'all's own admission, your boy is dangerous. You know what I'm saying? And has shown violent tendencies. I'm not letting him out of jail. So yeah, I don't know, man. I want to say if I knew more about the judge's like sentencing record and like how he is as a person, I could tell you, but I can't, because honestly, at the end of the day, I didn't
It's up
think
to the judge,
like I always thought that he was gonna get off because I don't have high hopes in people with money and influence being really held accountable. That's just how it is. It's the world we live in. It's super fucked up, but that's just a reality we have to accept.
Is it the people with money, or is it just the way the system is set up against people who don't have it? Because I feel like,
I mean,
you get what I'm saying?
Vice versa. I mean, I guess it. I can say this. I don't know if it matters much because the outcome is
think
the
about
same.
what they but see, think about what they did. They ran up in Buddy's crib from coast to coast.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? At the same time, executed this plan. Had his kids in cuffs. They ran through this, took all this hard drives and electronics and all these hellacious things and da-da-da-da.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about millions of dollars spent on that.
Yeah.
Millions of dollars spent on that. Just to pretty much come out and say that a man got a prostitute over state lines.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that when somebody comes at you that heavy-handed, if Diddy didn't have the money, he's probably going to submit to whatever plea deal that they gave, just simply off of the optics of what occurred, if he was famous or not. So do you feel like sometimes the government or the state prosecutors can come down on somebody hard, and yet that situation is against the person who has to be defense, because 6 figures ain't enough. Even $1 million ain't enough. Diddy spent tens of millions of dollars probably on his defense.
Oh yeah.
We don't even know the numbers, but if I had to probably guess, 20 to 30 million easily.
Damn, I don't know.
Easily.
Damn, I don't know about 30.
Bro, he had eight high-hitting lawyers. He got Young Thug's lawyer mid-crisis.
Mm-hmm.
You think he came out of there without getting at least a little 6 to 8 million?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, like I said, I don't know what gangs be charging, but you're probably right. I mean, it could be in the realm of 30 million.
20 to 30, which I think 20 for sure, 30 probably.
I can't answer this because again, my thing is I mean, how many charges did T.I. beat? He got caught with gun after gun. He still never served really any significant time in jail. The thing is I don't. You could say it's a system of just not having access to wealth and resources, but again, it doesn't change the outcome. The outcome is whether it's because you have the financial ability to hire lawyers that can get you off, or if it's because at the end of the day, the people sitting on a jury just don't see people of high wealth and status of being just ultimate criminal runners, unless they own like some actual selling drugs and type shit, unless they just don't see them as criminals. Well, for whatever reason it is, when you have a certain amount of wealth and money, you tend to get slapped on arrest more, and then you tend to get pounded into the dirt when it comes to the judicial system. So like again, I wasn't high on like them even getting anything, you know what I'm saying? So like when they said they was going to a verdict, I was betting on this motherfucker getting off on everything, and that's just having like the episode of all episodes, which he basically did, right? Because it was he obviously only got caught up on the lesser of all the charges. So
that was really like the best case scenario.
Yeah.
The fact that he pretty much pled guilty to being a violent person, and the only thing he got was prostitution across state lines, which was obvious. I don't think anybody was arguing that he was going to wasn't going to get on that.
He had to admit to it because they even had to. They
pretty much did. I mean, there's no arguing that.
Yeah.
I think the fact that that's all he got were 10 years max.
If he gets that.
Yeah, even if he only gets 5 with time served right now, he'll be out by the end of 2027.
Yeah, so the RICO was life. I mean, the RICO was life, right?
No, RICO wasn't just life. I think Diddy was okay, probably. I think at a certain point he was okay with life in prison. Maybe not actually getting life, but taking the trafficking charge, he did not want that RICO, bro. that RICO would have took his money. That RICO would have took everything. You get what I'm saying?
Oh, I didn't know
RICO means that like, oh, it's an enterprise. We are now coming to like expunge this.
Oh shit.
We're taking this.
Oh damn. So okay. See, I didn't know that. All right, that's good to know. Oh well, yeah, for sure. So if you're sitting on a jury, man, and you trying to say, all right, yeah. So yeah, it was a bad plan from the start, even hitting him with the RICO. Because I mean,
the jury probably like, we not finna take away.
Yeah, like what y'all trying to convince us he is. Like,
we agree he is
a shitbag. Like I mean, like he's an asshole to the fifth power and deserves to go to like. What I think is at the end of the day, had the statutes of limitations not been so far back on some of these sexual crimes, then he probably would have been super cooked. But because
cooked as in probably serving life just based off of the amount.
Like
let me ask you this: are you not surprised that we didn't hear about any of the hellacious things about any other victims? Because we're talking about hundreds of victims that Tony Bugsby, you know what I'm saying, signed on to. Some of them being, you know, under the age of 18 and people, you know, drugs being involved, or people were drugged. Are you surprised that we didn't get any of, because those being civil lawsuits, that can be investigated as a federal crime in a case like this, especially.
Well, it depends it depends on the statutes of limitations. Remember, Cassie was only allowed to even bring her civil suit because New York did a one-time, like, y'all get this year of like anything that is now past.
Yeah, but doing something to a minor, I don't think there's a statute of limitations on that.
I can't tell you that, but all I know is that the reason why Cassie's lawsuit is even a thing is because the New York planned a 1 year, you know what I'm saying, they did a 1 year trial. I don't know about trial, but they did a 1 year thing where they said, hey, for this year, anyone whose sexual crimes would now be past the statutes of limitations, you are now allowed to come and, bring forth a claim against the person, you know what I'm saying? And you can file it and, you know, saying we'll pursue it. And that's what happened. So as far as with a minor, I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's longer than an adult, but there has to be a limitation to it, bro. Like you can't chase, like, look at it from a perspective.
30 years.
Yeah, I was going to say, look at it from a perspective.
30 years, bro.
I mean, I hear you, but I'm saying, I know it had to at least be sometime, because at the end of the day, you can't chase, let's say you're an innocent person, right? Like, it's unfair to you to be chased your whole life
over. So look, I get that, but I just feel like with a minor, for it to be 30 years, I'm assuming, I mean, the man.
Yeah, but remember the one minor, I think Tony Bowles.
I know that there were some obvious ones that were trash.
Yeah,
but I'm just saying, are you not surprised with it not being any other victims? You know what I'm saying? Who the federal government could have used in this case?
I mean, they already had 60. And that leads,
victims though. Out of the 60, there were only like, I think maybe 8 victims, or something like that.
But again, we go back to this point of a lot of victims don't want to come forward. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to have my name tied to that shit. Okay. You know what I'm saying? That's why you get Jane Does and John Does and
their name still got out
and shit, right? You know what I'm saying? People always get doxxed, man. It's unfortunate, but
it is kind of messed up. But I'm not gonna lie, dog.
In the 21st century, you can't.
It's impossible.
Yeah, you cannot attack. You cannot say anything and not get doxxed. It's gonna happen, bro. Don't trust nobody. If you going to shelter it, you know what I'm saying?
Bro, CNN was giving out the name.
Dog, and keep that to yourself.
Bro.
Yeah, dog, of course. They gonna run them numbers, man. They don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck about people's sanctity and, like, you know what I'm saying, like integrity and shit. Nobody gives a fuck anymore.
And what's crazy is this is the same people that are like big on the Me Too and just for women and da-da-da. And
they just want to run numbers, bro. Whatever hot in the streets, whatever cooking in the microwave, they gonna go order 5 more of them while they hot, and then that's it, man. That's it. They gonna run the numbers. Yeah. So like whoever doxed them, it don't matter, bro. They gonna do it because they need to get them numbers up. But I mean, at the end of the day, I think that, you know, as far as what Diddy future looks like, I do think that like I said, we live in a very forgiving society, man. And a lot of people are going to think about all the good that Diddy has done, right? You know what I'm saying? Whether or not that disregards any of whether or not you could disregard any of his negative behavior that's clearly come out during this trial. But you also have a lot of people who don't think he did anything wrong. You know what I'm saying? Who wholeheartedly believe that Cassie was a willing participant and she just lied.
Do I think that morally and ethically he was wrong, but do I believe that the wrongness was to be dealt with to the point where like legally he should be in this particular crisis? That's a tough one. You know what I'm saying? I didn't see them videos. Some of the alternate jurors have already come out, or alternate jurors already come out and talked about some of the things, and it seemed as if he was like, yo, we were never going to do anything like trafficking. We just needed to hear the instruction to see, like, I guess technically, is it going to be that? He was like, just based off of the testimonies. He said even based off of the video, there was never a point where he felt like any of the victims that came out were doing anything that they didn't willingly want to do. You know what I'm saying? And that to me was kind of like, why would the prosecutors do all this? And it seemed as if, let me tell you what it looks like to me. It looks like they got wind of something. They got the opportunity to be signed off to do these raids, right? And did it and was like, well, we got to go to court with something. We got to charge him with something that makes sense for what we just did. You know what I'm saying? Because remember, it took them so long to even charge him, even after he got after his doors got ran into.
Well, also you got to also understand that, like, to a certain extent, a lot of law enforcement people have hero complex. So if you have Cassie sitting in front of you and she's telling you all these horrible things that Diddy has done, and she's telling you that she knows that he's still doing it to other people, you can also elicit that type of response because you believe you're saving people. And then you get in there, you see all these tapes that he has, stuff like that, right? And, you get other people testimony, Don Richards, stuff like that, right? About his violent tendencies. Because
if he's recording people, let me put another one. If you're recording people without their consent in these quote unquote freak offs, that's coercion, bro. That right there is the second predicate that you need for the RICO. Yeah. So that to me would be easy for them to be like, all you need to do is just like, you don't even need to show who the person is, but for somebody to come out and say that I was not.
Yeah, but I also think, I don't know how many people didn't know they were being recorded, but again, we go back to the jury situation. The jury, I still don't think that they just could put criminal enterprise in their head and associated with what Diddy was doing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because the problem is, and this has always been my issue, right? I try not to get tenfold haddish, but whenever like you bring a conspiracy theory to me, don't bring me no conspiracy theory that's just based off of niggas wanting to just be evil to be evil. It has to be related to money. If you can tell me where the money is going,
I already know where you're going.
Yeah,
I already know where you're going.
Well, no, not with this. I'm just saying I'm saying when you bring me something, if you could tell me where the money is going, I can listen to your conspiracy. But like if you just telling me, oh, they just doing this because they want to do this, and that, I can't listen to you. I feel like it's the same thing here. Y'all trying to tell me he's running a criminal enterprise, and like in the way you're explaining it, I hear you, but what I'm seeing is just a shitty ass nigga who like is like fucking people's lives up. I don't see a criminal enterprise here, and like that's the issue that I think that like fell to the jury. The jury had to decide whether or not a nigga wanting to do a bunch of criminal shit for his own pleasure is a criminal mastermind, like he Dr. Evil and shit.
Yeah.
Like I hate to laugh because it's fucked up, but like it really like it's almost comical when you think about it. Like this was what y'all ran with to try to get him life.
I think Diddy is able. I do agree with you. I think he's gonna be able to bounce back from this. I don't think his bounce back is gonna be anything like astronomical. You know what I'm saying? I think he might be able to like just save some face, maybe get a egg off his face. I think he's going to attach himself probably to the Pride group very quickly. I think his lawyers have already started doing that. And because now that this has come out,
I don't know, dog, because Pride's are pretty left-leaning people. I don't think they want to have nothing to do with Domi. Like that's
you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised of like who you can just come and get to stand with you on stage with some money. Like, hey, I'll give you $1.5 million just to like, you know what I'm saying, smile. I don't need you to say nothing.
Yeah. I think that listen, Diddy's still probably a billionaire, even if all
half
this.
$1 billion for sure.
You know what I'm saying? So like what that looks like is
he can go ghost.
Yeah, I'm saying, bro, like
Like so I mean, look.
Yeah, the way these people assets work, bro, like what was taken away from Diddy was what all people like Diddy want is they want to be the face of everything. You know what I'm saying? They want to have the recognition that whatever was built and whatever was done by them. And I think that was robbed from him. So I do think that's a major blow to his psyche, but at the end of the day, whether or not he going to be good like financially or whatever, yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's just whether or not he can deal with not being in the limelight anymore. Because like I said, you know me, I don't like to like analyze people, but Diddy has always been the type of person who love the fucking camera. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So to not be in front of it, he got to deal with that now. All
right, this is the last thing, and then we can end it. A lot of people are trying to make similarities to Diddy and R. Kelly, and no, and I just want your quick take because I know mine. I'm pretty sure anybody who knows me probably feel like I'll just say mine real quick. I think it's asinine.
Yeah,
that there is even a close to a similarity between R. Kelly and
trying to justify R. Kelly's release.
I think that
based off of this,
and I think that's what lets me know that some of us are really sick in the head. That we're not just seeing the obvious. Mm-hmm. Diddy, freaky ass nigga. We not sitting here saying anything short of that. Yeah. Dude is. I'm even willing to get up here and say he's morally corrupt. You know what I'm saying? I think he needs. When you tell people to find God, he's somebody that's like, bro, find purpose, find the North Star, find something.
For sure.
Because right now you are addicted to something that is problematic. Mm-hmm. But R. Kelly is a whole nother monster.
Yeah.
A whole nother evil. So I just want to know if you don't mind just sharing your opinion on, I don't know if you've seen the similarities that people are trying to justify or to make between them both. Like Diddy, look, like same people, but I don't know if you just want to, and I know that might seem like we're defending Diddy, not the case, but I am.
I don't get why the argument is still like, if you want to give an ounce of credence to Diddy being railroaded, you probably could, just based off of like what they threw at him and the way that they were trying to argue the RICO charge. Okay, cool. I don't know why people are still arguing like R. Kelly got railroaded. The only argument that they've ever had is that it was unfair that all the willing participants didn't also get charged with him. That's it. That's the only argument y'all have. That's it. That's the only thing I'll ever concede to this thing. R. Kelly is one of the worst people ever fucking born, and like he should die in jail. Like,
I don't even know what that means. The willing participants didn't get charged. Are we talking about the one that we saw on camera?
No, we're talking about all the people that helped R. Kelly round up the kids.
And okay, for sure. I agree with that.
Yeah,
thing.
So I'm saying all those people.
When you said willing participants, I got what you're saying. My bad. People who are complicit. Got you. Yes.
Yeah, all of those people should have also been charged. I'm in equal agreement. Had they come to me, excuse me, y'all. Had they come to me, I'd have been like, look, I'm going to do the best I can to get you the least amount, but you going to jail. You know what I'm saying? And it's just whether or not you want me to be on your side or not on your side. You know what I'm saying?
I can either let you get about 2 to 3 years, maybe 5.
Yeah.
Or you're going to sit about 15, 20.
You're going to sit about 15. It's however the fuck you want to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of times, like, we forget
if you just want to bring me evidence and proof, I got one free ticket that I'm willing to give somebody to just make my life easy so I ain't got to spend millions to just go in like.
And so, and you got to be the assistant with the smoking gun to everybody. I need
everything. Passwords, all of it.
Because, like, I want to stress this. I don't think people understand how difficult it is for a prosecutor to do their job. And I don't want to discredit any of them, but also want to state the fact that like sometimes they can be a bit lazy, dog, because like it is easier just to get a super witness to confess, give him, you know what I'm saying, immunity, and then just tie him into everybody to get this shit wrapped up, especially if he know the in and outs of the organization and all that shit. And although this nigga done did some of the grimiest, worst shit ever, you know what I'm saying, if you go back and you watch like the Al Capone shit, they had a dude who was on trying to talk about all the people he killed. He was given full immunity. Shit was super fucked up. But the reality was they needed him to try to get to him. He
gave everybody everything. Yeah, bodies were literally buried.
Yeah, so I mean, like the reality is them people got off. It's super fucked up. But why are we arguing whether or not R. Kelly need to get out of jail?
All right, I just wanted to get your opinion. You know, put us back in check. I just want to make this. This is not a race thing. This
it's crazy.
Is not. You know what I'm saying?
Now we done been over the race thing, dog. Quit bringing me people who don't look like me. I don't care about them niggas.
Yeah, this is not. It ain't that. But all right, man. Okay. I don't know if there's anything else you want to
add. I just want to go over like the Trump and Elon fallout.
Jesus.
Big beautiful bill passing. Just in all, the state of affairs of the United States of
I'll
America.
make this very quick because I really don't want to get into politics too much. I'm on a really good high.
Damn.
Life has been good. You know what I'm saying? I will say that I do.
Niggas ignoring life.
I'm living it. That's the difference.
Okay, all right.
That's the difference. That's the difference.
I feel you.
I think a lot of people are ignoring life and paying attention to this too much, and you know what I'm saying. We just can't. We're limited on what we can do right now.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But I'll say
I think that's where I'm at in politics in general anyway now.
You know what I'm saying? But I'll just say that I think this is for the first time in a long time. Two things. First and foremost, the reason why I did not vote for Trump, I don't know if you recall, when I was like, hey, I'm pulling my vote for him, was when the assassination attempt. And I was just like, man, he's too hostile. He has us pretty much at the verge of our emotions at all times, and it's just not good for us as a country, let alone where we stand in the world. And I'm here to tell you today that I do feel like with Trump, it just feels like impending doom is like every time I think about it or I just read it, just maybe I'm just getting old, so now it's just like I'm just feeling like too much in the extreme one way or the other with politics. But it just doesn't feel like there's much hope for it. It's like, I don't know, man. It just seems like we're going to go through some negative shit. Like we're only 6 months in, and I think that's why it feels like impending doom. It'd be different if like, hey, by next year we're about to, you know, say have the next election, or in maybe 2 years about to have the next election. Bro, he got 3.5 more years of this. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I think Buddy can definitely have us on the verge of like, you know what I'm saying, some comparable shit here pretty soon.
Okay. Damn, man. What the fuck?
Get some water.
Yeah, man. I done drunk the whole bottle. I don't. You know what? So, in terms of the big beautiful bill, I don't have much to say on that because, again, I don't understand these tax codes.
You're not gonna know for like another 6 years anyway.
Ironically, I do get a tax anchor. I mean, I get a tax cut. So, shout out to me. But I think that what happens here's where I'm at with politics. We need to drop this whole conservative liberal thing. I don't think conservatives are very much conservative. I don't know if they ever have been based off of like, you know, spending habits and, you know what I'm saying, their ability to keep printing money. Also liberal, I don't really know how liberal a lot of these niggas are anymore. You know what I'm saying? I think what I never got to talk about was during the show Paradise, right? There's a scene in there that I think hits home better than anything that I've ever tried to explain in politics. And there was a scene where, what was the president's name?
Don't ask me names. It's about the main character, black dude?
Nah, the white dude. So he was, you know, his father and them, you know, his father was like, you know, this big old money figure, you know what I'm saying, who like, remember he was president. The president's dad, you know what I'm saying? He was already like a made man, you know, the son was trying to figure out his way. He told him he was gonna go be like a fucking teacher. Dad was all like, nah, bro, I don't know what the fuck you talking about. Your last name is so and so.
We already got it. Got you.
He told him that you either gonna run as a Democrat for senator, you either gonna run for senator as a Democrat or you gonna run for governor as a Republican. And I think 9 times out of 10 that's how that shit worked. So many of these motherfuckers are legacy. On top of that, a lot of these motherfuckers come from areas where their names are already known, and those basics already exist, right? So you already know that it's a Republican county or state or whatever. You already know that it's a Democratic state or whatever. And these niggas align themselves with whatever is going to serve their own self-interest. It's no longer debatable. These niggas get in there, they become millionaires basically overnight. I no longer have time to even debate with y'all whether or not any of these niggas are grifters or actually serious. There are about 5 to 6 niggas who are actually principled, stand on what they believe. You know what I'm saying? And whether you agree with them or not, you know what I'm saying, is entirely up to you. But what I'm saying is he's
authentic in what he's saying in his emotions.
Yeah, but I'm saying
to the core. It's not backed by. It's probably backed by some type of dollars. I'm not going. But it's not. But that's not the main objective. You can tell. Like,
well, I'm saying here is just that, especially when it gets to this whole, if you got anybody that's had money donated to them by a super PAC, I'm automatically ruling them out. Nothing they say matters because they have too much money that's influencing their policies and their decisions, and too many lobbyists in their ear for me to even take them seriously. And I don't have time to look up how many is it, like 550 fucking, you know what I'm saying, House of Representatives? I don't have time looking at all these niggas campaign donations to figure out who's real and who ain't. Fuck it. Here's what I know. I know that once again, we have a conservative president who has put together a bill that's supposed to add $3 to $4 trillion to the national debt over the next 6 years. Hey, listen, this train is coming to an end. I had the slightest of hopes that this Doge was actually going to come in and make significant changes. And when I say significant, I mean just take off $250 billion. And then next year we go another $250 billion. And, you know, we work ourselves to where, you know what I'm saying, we also
maybe
grow
in
the
5
economy.
years we get $1 trillion back. You know what I'm saying?
I'm saying, because nothing happens overnight. Just like if you wake up one day and you realize you got $50,000 in debt, you don't go pay that $50,000 off, right? You make
$500 at a time.
You make atomic, small changes.
$250 at a time.
Yeah, and you knock it out. Nobody expected those to actually go in there and cut $2 trillion from the debt. Damn, man. But the reality is they passed that bill, didn't include none of the Doge debt. Elon's looking like, I truly think he might have actually been blindsided. I mean, that's how I honestly feel.
But that's probably how the falling out happened.
Yeah, so
he probably knew that this is where this was going to take course,
which is why he left before the bill passed. Yeah, so I mean, even the smallest hopes I had of them, like, because again, I disagree with almost everything of these niggas as far as like personal freedoms and like all that other shit. But at least like I thought that we had some semblance of hope, but we finally had somebody that was actually saying the quiet part out loud, which was, yo, this debt shit, this money spending shit, this shit is out of control. We gotta get it under control. And these niggas not only didn't pass any of the Doge cuts, these niggas actually didn't do anything. But if you want to be truthful, these tariffs aren't doing anything but supplementing the fact that they cut taxes, right? So it appears as though the American people are getting tax breaks, but they ain't do nothing but add tariffs. And so the tariffs are obviously going to offset the tax cuts that they had to give us, right? Because the government has to pay their bills. So, you know, at the end of the day, man, you know what I'm saying? From this point forward, man, don't give me no candidate, bro. Because the candidate has to be propped up by big money. And at the end of the day, they're going to have to show me before, you know what I'm saying, like I debate whether or not they're going to be good. They're just another face. They're just another nigga here to serve the global elite. And I hate to sound like all tenfold haddish, but I mean, that's just kind of what it is now, man. We know what the game is. And so, you know, fuck it, man. I mean, I just... And
that's exactly why I don't want to talk about politics.
I'm just exhausted. Okay.
All right. Well, with that being said, man, it seemed like that's it. I don't know what time it is. It looks like probably almost an hour. But yeah, everybody, we halfway through the year. Just leave on something positive. Man, just whatever you wanted to accomplish at the beginning of this year, just know you still got time. Like we were talking about earlier, just one step at a time, small increments.
Especially if you're trying to pay down your debt, man. Everybody, I would recommend that as soon as possible.
Yeah, get the debt cleared up.
Get out of debt, man, because shit probably
get some cash on. Get some cash in your accounts. You know what I'm saying?
Shit gonna get ugly here, man.
Cash gonna be king.
Sooner probably rather than later.
Order some MREs if you're scared.
Yeah, all that. Okay.
All right.
With that being said, man, till next time, we out.